once more for tuning in. Media 2 Africa has come back to its feet. Despite the pandemic, we were struggling, but now we're right back on air. We know you guys did miss this program. We have come back in strong form to make sure that we entertain you. Reasons why today we brought two distinguished gentlemen that will be animating the show. We brought Paddy Asanga all the way from Germany, and we also have Mr. Bobga Ayaba, who is CEO of Roger Miller Restaurant here in Silver Spring. Gentlemen, I'll be welcoming you so you do your introduction so the public knows you best from your mouth. So, Mr. Paddy Asanga, I will start with you. Welcome to my platform.
Yes, I want to first of all thank Media to Africa, which is almost like a family to me right now, because they were the only media who decided to organize a constructive debate with between me and a so-called separatist in the person of Pafunde, and I thought this is one of the best Pan-Africanist media in the US, where Africans can sit down and talk rather than throwing tantrums against themselves. And the contrary is that back home, somebody who doesn't agree with you from the Amazonian camp will behead you. But that was just to congratulate you for the job that you people are doing by bringing people together and enabling them to be able to talk to themselves and to talk to each other. My names are Paddy Asanga. I am a member of the defunct Cameroon Parliament, popularly known as Parlement Estudiantin. I was the only job I got from the Cameroon government until date was that I was dismissed from the Cameroon University because of my activities within this student parliament that they deemed as subversive. I found myself in exile and I've been militing in several movements. I'm one of those people who promotes the Bamenda culture. I call myself a Bakwa boy. I am unrepentant federalist, and then I am a Pan-Africanist. I have been to the Grand National Club. I have had meetings with Ambazonian. I have met with Maurice Kamto one-on-one. I have met with Akere Muna. I have met with the Jacobins who are in Yaoundé. And I believe that all life matters. And above all, Black lives matter. Just to make a long story short. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paddy Asanga, for that great introduction, which directly tells the public who you are. We're so happy to have you, alias Paddy Asanga, alias Bakwa Boy. Paddy Asanga has been in the front line as a federalist for a very long time now, since this struggle got to this very top moment. Paddy Asanga today will be holding it with Mr. Bobga Ayaba, who, as I did introduce, is the CEO of Roger Miller Restaurant here in Silver Spring, Maryland, USA. Mr. Bobga, how are you doing today? And welcome to my platform.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Sure, the public will love to hear from you who you are, like Paddy did.
Well, basically, I'm Bobga Ayaba, a businessman in the Washington area, and I'm also leading an organization called Ambazonians for Justice and Self-Determination, because that is what we need. And I'm glad that you brought us here today to talk about what's going on in Ambazonia and what the terrorist regime of La République du Cameroon is doing to our people. As it stands, we have more than 12,000 southern Cameroonian Ambazonian killed. We have more than 400 villages burnt. We have our mothers and our kids burnt alive in their homes. And these are human beings that did not do anything to nobody. All they wanted was to live a free life and enjoy the freedom that God gave them. But their lives have been taken away from them. We have almost 100,000 refugees in Nigeria, and nobody seems to care about them. The so-called one Cameroon, indivisible, don't even realize that we have more than 100,000 people in Nigeria, refugees, back home in Ambazonia. We have hundreds of thousands in the bushes. We have women giving birth to kids in the bushes. And these are human beings. And we're supposed to be a one Cameroon. They're supposed to, and I hear my brother, Padia Sanga, talking about federation. This is the thing that started this problem. We had people that was just begging to have the opportunity to run their own affairs. They're put in jail. And somebody's going to come and talk to me about federation.
Thank you.
I'm a very proud Ambazonian. Ambazonia is what? Is a spirit of people who want to control their own affairs. People who want to live like human beings with their God-given rights on this earth. That's Ambazonian. Ambazonian is people that will not accept to be second-class citizens to anybody. That's Ambazonian. Ambazonians are people that take care of each other. You see women in the bushes. You see mothers going there, taking care of them. That's Ambazonian. So I'm proud to be Ambazonian. Give me a break with federalists. Federalists, you can find them in Yaoundé, drinking champagnes, with this crooked terrorist regime in Yaoundé. Those are federalists. And what are they federating? Nothing. Because they're not going to have anything from that crooked regime in Yaoundé. They're not going to have anything. Because that crooked regime in Yaoundé is being removed control by Paris.
Thank you, Mr. Boga.
Back in the days during the slavery time, we used to call that the house nigger. The house nigger was the link between the slave master and the enslaved. That's what it is. We, the Ambazonian, we want total independence so we can control our own affairs on our own land. We don't want to go to Yaoundé. We don't want to go to East Cameroon. We want to stay in Ambazonia and build the best country that human being ever knew in Ambazonia, because we have the resources, we have the human capacity, we have everything we need to build the best country in the world. But we've been made to believe that we're poor. They destroy all of our infrastructure. They destroy everything that we have. They take everything we have and send it to Yaoundé, so that we could. They want to make us believe that we have nothing. We're poor. No, we produce almost 60% of the GDP of our country.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. You will have time to develop your arguments. Thanks so much. You will have time to develop your arguments. I want to make sure that let my host, my televiewers know that today we are doing this interview via Skype because of the pandemic. So we could not host our debaters today in the Washington, DC studios. So I will be starting with Padia Sanga, who is a frontline activist for federalism. Padia Sanga, you are advocating for federalism. Meanwhile, the President Biya's government thinks that this is a failed system that was tested before, when Cameroon just came to that federal union status. And equally, one of the famous Cameroonian ministers, Issa Chiruma, has always said federalism is a taboo. Why do you still think that federalism can be a battle that you probably win instead of lining up with the Ambazonians who are fighting for independence?
My brother, let me tell you something. When you say Issa Chiruma said federalism failed, then you are only trying to believe the lies that those people that you don't trust tell you. That is, you're making me look a bit ridiculous by telling me that I should believe something that Issa Chiruma says. Do you believe anything that Issa Chiruma would say?
It is still to be verified. The fact is that Issa Chiruma is working with the governing body, and he's working with the government.
So with that said, Issa Chiruma is working with the government, and he says what the government has been saying. But you want to understand that federalism has never failed. Federalism was abolished in favor of Jacobinism because they wanted a strong man who would sit in Yaoundé and decree that my backyard be given as a concession to France, China, Japan, Singapore, or Britain. Federalism never failed. The institutions that we brought into the union and that worked were systematically taken down. But that does not give anybody to come and tell me that we, the Ambazonian, when did Ambazonians start to exist? And when have we ever practiced Ambazonia in the current dispensation of Cameroon? Ambazonia has two versions, and it is the 1984 version and the 2008 version. So you want to ask me the question to know what do I mean by two versions of Ambazonia? The 1984 version of Ambazonia is a copyrighted name which is deposited in the United Kingdom by Fon Gojidinka as an intellectual property. And the 2018 or 2017 version of Ambazonia is a scam that was cooked up in Nigeria by Seseko Ayub Tabe, who hijacked the struggle that federalists were leading at the home front. We should be able to tell our people the contemporary truth and nothing but the truth. And today, you want to believe with me what Bob Ga, who calls himself Ambazonia, what his friends are talking about Ayub Tabe. They say Ayub Tabe is an enabler, Ayub Tabe is a scammer. Ayub Tabe has not told them that he went to Naira Hotel to negotiate for federalism, but was picked up because the real people who were supposed to talk on behalf of the people at the home front are Bala, Mancho BBC, and some of those of the colorful revolution like Ngalim who are still in jail. So you want to understand that somebody like Bob Ga, who is telling you about Ambazonia today, is just a political parachuter. He wants to hijack, he has jumped into the bandwagon that hijacked a legitimate cause and turned it into a breeding cash cow. That's why I would never support that charade. I would never support that scam. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Padia Sanga, still with you. If you were given the possibility, the option to choose, would you prefer Anglophone independence or would you still want to go with federalism?
I would still want to federate because I don't believe in microstates. The hallmarks of Ambazonia has become, is worse than, sometimes even worse than what we see coming from the Jacobins. And I want to tell you that if my data are not wrong, the silent majority is rising, and if there is a referendum put out today in the Northwest and Southwest region, our Francophone and Anglophone brothers would prefer to live together than to live with beheaders like Ayabacho, who says that he will go out there and cut the heads of thieves and put them on the sticks. What we have been saying, Chris Ano calls him a terrorist, calls his group a terrorist. People should be well informed and make good use of that information and know that these people are dangerous, and we cannot permit a South Sudan with warlords hiding in the diaspora and calling themselves leaders. They are scammers, and that's how they call themselves. They deserve to be called those names.
Thank you, Padia Sanga. Mr. Bobga, from his development, you see it is also relevant to know.
Enslavement. There is none. So it's only Padia Sanga that who says that you ask him the question, if given a choice between federation or independent, which one will he choose? He said federation. That's the classic example of back during the slavery time, they used to call house nigger. You know, because he stays in the house, he gets crumbs, he can't fend for himself, you know. They send the money, they go to Yaoundé to some charade call, all the national conference or dialogue or whatever, you know. So they prefer to be enslaved. They prefer that their brothers be enslaved in Amazonia so they can go to Yaoundé and drink champagne with their masters. I said, no, we want to be free. We want a free Amazonia so we can control our own affairs. He said something about microstates. Gabon, I'm sure my brother doesn't know what the population of Gabon is.
I think so.
Amazonia is 8 million people strong. Gabon is about 1 million or 1 million something. There's so many other states in this world that are smaller than Amazonia, and they're doing just fine. So that for me, it doesn't hold any water. All we want is the Republic, La République du Cameroon, to withdraw its troops back to East Cameroon, and let us Southern Cameroonians, we build all they've destroyed. We're not asking them to come build. We will build it. We are hardworking people. We will build it. Even if it's from agriculture, we will build it. But we just want them to leave our country.
Yes, Mr. Bobga, but you didn't answer my question. I was talking of the patience of Ambazonians that has worn thin over the past several months due to the fractions and the infighting within the Ambazonian frontline activists.
Absolutely. That is why I say an Ambazonian would prefer independence over enslavement. But let me address that. If you look all over the world, where people have been struggling for liberation, for independence, you've seen that there's an element of psychological warfare that they've always faced. You will have the oppressor, like La République du Cameroon. They will come to Amazonia. They'll create fake groups. They'll create fake Amber boys and have them kidnap people. They want to create frustration on the people. They will have fake Facebook profiles attacking each other. We know that's part of their game. They want Amazonia to be wary of this war.
Okay, thank you. I want to recall my televiewers and two of you that this is an interactive platform. I will be taking questions from the public too. Paddy Asanga, this comes from one of our listeners. He is all the way in London. He's called Ngenge Nyonji Lorate. He's asking you, Paddy, do you think that people marched on 2nd of September 2017 because they wanted federalism?
The people who marched on the 22nd of September had nothing to do with Ambazonia. It was a diverse crowd, and they came out for different reasons. And you will not tell me that the person who has a problem with the mayor in Bamenda or the Bayam Selam who has a problem was marching because he wanted to get Ambazonia. It's not true. I want them to correct their data and tell me what censor they made to tell us that everybody who came out on the 22nd of September was marching for Ambazonia. And on that 22nd, we saw no flag because those people who hijacked the struggle were using the same hallmarks of the struggle. You want to remember that Agbobala was still in prison. You want to also remember that they are still detainees. So it was a cloud that it was a panacea of people with different grievances. And it is a syndicate. It was a syndicate of revendication. What happened? What happened? Because I know they will come with this question to ask me and trying to tell me that, oh, on the 1st of October, they were marching with peace plans to go and get independence because Ayub Tabe was supposed to be at the Ambas base. That was another scam, and that's where the Ambazonian scam began because they lied to our people, told them that they should go and arrest DOs and mayors and all what of the administration and go and hand them over to the chiefs. That's what Ayub Tabe said. This man, Bobga, cannot run from that. It was a lie. It was a lie. And that thing was futile. According to Honorable Wiba, who is an SDF militant, 120 people were killed that day. You cannot go and attack Jacobinist institutions with peace plans and say you want to get independence. Say you want to arrest DOs, military men, policemen, and go and hand them over to the chiefs. It's a lie. It is a fraud. These people they're inhumane. You cannot do that to a people who have been suffering under a Jacobinist regime for almost 40-something years when they abolished the federation that we brought into the union. What can be restored and what is feasible, what is arguable as far as the Anglophone question is concerned, it is the federation because it is the will of our forebears who went to the United Nations and debated. Those debates are there. Today, we have letters coming from the British House of Commons or Commonwealth saying that they recognize they played this seat, and these same people went to that place saying that they wanted to gain Ambazonia, but Ambazonia there are about 7 Ambazonia within the trash cans or in the trash cans of the United Nations. That's what our people don't know. But this time around, some people, fake pastors, scammers, hijackers have come in, hijacked the whole struggle, turned it into a bleeding cash cow, and they are making monies out of it, fighting themselves. And now this man is telling you that there is donor fatigue. Mr. Biaki, they created fake Facebook. Chris Anno went on air and was telling people that ADF is a terrorist. Is it Padi Asanga who said it? Is it Mr. Bia who said it? Is it Atanganji who said it? Is it you who said it? When Tapang said a field marshal should be killed, is it Padi Asanga who said it? Is it Mr. Bia who said it? So they have given themselves names and they should answer those names. Thank you, brother.
Okay, Paddy, I will still come with you. How strong do you believe that you can gain federalism when even Frundi, the celebrated chairman that all of us know for his strong stand, said on TV that if he were 50, he would be in the bush fighting the war of independence because Cameroonian government has been a very dubious one vis-a-vis Anglophones. Abogbala and Fontaine-Niba were arrested. These are people who advocated for the same plight like you. They were arrested, consortium banned, and they have not achieved their goals. And how strong do you believe you can achieve it instead of lining up with the Ambazonians who believe that there's a possible independent status for them?
The irony within the African mentality is that people think that you will sit and say that the struggle was God ordained, go out with Odeshi, and say you will get Ambazonia. But when you talk of Frundi said, and I'm with Frundi on that one, if I were 50, I would have been into the bushes. That's to tell all of those people who are advocating for Ambazonia, who are not 50, to go back home and fight for Ambazonia if they actually believe it. That is the meaning behind what Mr. John Frundi said. So people cannot sit in the diaspora, say it and sit on Facebook, say, we fight till the last man standing, and they send other people's children to go and be slaughtered like chickens. Coming back to the path of federation. Imagine for one instance, and we had that political critical mass that we all say we have to work out collectively and federate in Boya or in Bamenda. I don't want to use their terminology because I'm not a fan of copycat. And we agree with all our elected officials, just like we did in Enugu. We all agree that if they don't want to talk, they don't want to do as we want, we are working to Boya in one voice, as we did it in Enugu, without firing a single bullet. It is possible. What do you have to do? Vote the Jacobinist CPDM government or CPDM state party out of the Northwest and Southwest region. It would have saved us this carnage. But political parachuters came in and said they were boycotting everything. They started with the first lie: we'll grant you independence through fully hawks. It never worked. They lied to you that they were going to go to the decolonization commission. It was a lie. They told you that they were training soldiers in South Africa who will come and fight for Ambazonia. It was another lie. They went ahead, told you that they were going to lobby the United Nations, went and created girls, took out girls who were dancing half naked in front of the White House. Another failed attempt. Went to Nigeria, created a government which was more or less a clandestine gang of people who people like Princess Harriet said they were fraudsters. Dr. Liz Ambe from the Ambazonian camp said they are fraudsters. And you want to tell me that those are people who believe in independence? Have they told you that they were going to meet Emmanuel René Sadi to negotiate the federation that Bala had spoken about before they got arrested? They got arrested because they had already formed gangs. They have already lied to the people, and they went on air saying that Ayub Tabe said that even with his blood, he was going to fight for Ambazonia and he was going to use every means possible. So the possibility, the path to a federation is a step by step. You cannot shoot your way through. The best thing you can do in a dictatorial regime is to give him the whip, to beat you with it. And that is when you pick up guns. And that's why you see our boys and girls are running there. The Ambazonians who are in the diaspora, they have collected enough money for themselves, kept it, they are fighting about it, and then setting those boys to kill themselves. You listen to it, what Franklin Vela and Pascal Kiki were saying the other day, saying that a charger killed 23 of them. Those boys were not killed by Padi Asanga. The boys that we call and remove out of the bushes, they are all still alive. Amber versus Amber, snake bites snake. How many have they killed in their own ranks? Doing the same thing that Mr. Biya's government is doing, but expecting different results. These people are criminals, and we are going to chase them at their doorsteps. Eric Tato cut people's fingers, Tapang Ivo kidnap people from the diaspora, Ayabacho kidnap chiefs, cut their heads and hang them on the road. That's what they say, and they want people to buy their idea of independence. No, nobody would want to live in that type of a nation. We want to federate with Cameroonians. I heard my brother Bodga just saying that we have our refugees in Nigeria, we have refugees. How do you know that the percentage, they keep talking about genocide, there are more English-speaking Cameroonians in the French-speaking regions of Cameroon, more than in the whole diaspora combined. And you talk about a war against Francophone, Bamileke should go. Those are things that they say, but they don't think about what they are saying. These people are political clowns, they are scammers, and we should not believe anything that they say. Thank you.
Thank you, Padi Asanga, but I'm very baffled that you prefer to go for federalism if you were given independence with the freedom.
I don't believe in microstates. As a Pan-Africanist, I don't believe in microstates. The core of my argument is Pan-Africanism. They are talking about Gabon. Gabon is a failed state. When they are talking about Equatorial Guinea is a failed state. Chad is a failed state. Central Africa is a failed state. The only state that is still struggling to stand on its wings is Cameroon because of its geographical location and its population. And then after that, you have the neighboring Nigeria. So these people should stop lying to you. You give people a country where they will come and behead Padi Asanga because of his political opinion. You think that the international community is not watching? But basically, I don't believe. I want a more and a greater integrated Africa than a phagocytated Africa. And then you have another South Sudan where Ayaba is saying that they should kill Ebenezer. Chris Ano is saying that they should kill Paddy Asanga and all sorts of crazy stuff. I don't want to have that type of a state.
Okay, I'll be coming back to you. I know that we have small states like that of Gabon that you did mention, surviving pretty well in Europe and Asia and other countries, other continents. I'll be coming back to you before we elaborate on that. Mr. Bobga Ayaba, we have heard of these factions. We've heard of this infighting, Amber fighting Amber. What is the state of the struggle now? Or it has it died a natural death at the advent of the pandemic?
No, the state of the struggle is strong. What you see right now is they call the last gap of a dying horse. La République is doing everything it can to create chaos in our country because they know they cannot win us. They know they will have to leave Amazonia. That's why they create all this chaos. They create the fake Amba boys and they're creating havoc, in Amazonia. Some say there's infighting within the Amazonian leadership. That is true, but there's never when you have group of people that are thinking, no one will think like the other person. So one person's always going to think that his solution is the better, or the other one's always going to think that he has the best solution. It is normal, but the final analysis is that the Amazonians are coming together. They're beginning to unite because they've seen the games, the manipulations from La République. We have seen that.
Yeah, many international groups like Human Rights Commission, they recognize that under the African Charter and brought international law, Southern Cameroons meets the definition of a people under international law because they manifest numerous characteristics such as affinities, which includes common history, linguistic tradition, territorial connection, and political outlook. Why is it so difficult that you guys have not been able to unite forces? Eric Tatu, Tapang Ivo, Mark Barretta, Ayaba Cho, and all these frontline leaders for all this while to stand strong and start fighting to gain diplomatic goals rather than the armed struggle because it's not really succeeding. What diplomatic steps have you guys taken like a group, a unified group right now? Because that is what is making the people to lack trust and the patience is really getting out of the state of struggle now.
Well, you're right, but we have been taking some steps. We have been talking to international partners, been out with the U.S. lawmakers, trying to get them to back Amazonia independent. A lot of work has been done by so many different factions, even though it's factions. But believe me, very soon you will see everything coming together. For Amazonian to realize it's independent. But before you ask Paddy Asanga a question, all these people came out asking for independence, and he said no, they were not all asking for independence and stuff like that. And I'll tell you that Amazonian came out that day because they had reached a certain degree of consciousness of their life, their situation. If you look at people who came out, a lot of young people came out. These are university graduates that have no jobs, but they live on a land that is one of the richest in Africa. This is the women goes to farm their food. They cannot transport it to town because there's no roads. These are women who give birth at home because there are no good hospitals. So they're conscious of what's happening to them. And that's why they are fighting, and that's why they're going to continue to fight, because they've attained a degree of consciousness that is not taking them back. You know?
Thank you.
And Paddy Asanga say our forefathers wanted a federation. I just want to remind Paddy that in the London conference of July 30 to 20 to August 20 of 1953, our forefathers in that conference demanded to control their own affairs. They demanded autonomy, and that is why they got autonomy. That is why they walked out of the Enugu Assembly with an autonomy. So our people have had that tendency to be free. They had the tendency to control their own affairs. We are very hardworking people. We know that. There shouldn't be any reason why we work hard, like they say, chico drink and
I don't refuse that. As an Abakwa boy, I'm a very hardworking people, but I'm not an Ambazonian. That's the first thing that you should take note of.
Mr. Bob,
it's because you don't understand what Ambazonian is.
Mr. Bob, thank you for your response. Paddy Asanga.
Ambazonian is a philosophy.
Mr. Bobga, please.
It's a mindset.
Paddy should have. Paddy will be having the microphone right now. Mr. Paddy Asanga, you attended the major national dialogue that took place. That most viewers, the worldwide, called it a monologue. What did you bring for the people of Southern Cameroon that you claim to represent? That really
I was privileged, and I'm proud to be part of that historical event. And coming from a political culture of mistakes, which we committed in 1992 by boycotting the legislatives, I have grown tall and learned that the politics of empty chair never pays. So if I wanted to practice the politics of empty chair, you will not invite me here and I'll come and sit down and talk with Bobga because he's an Ambazonian and I'm a federalist. So if the Jacobins invite me in a solution-seeking arena, I will go there and articulate my views, my points, the way I am doing right here. And I'm so proud that when you go on social media, they will tell you that Paddy Asanga, Mr. Special Status, Mr. Special Status. Yes, I am Mr. Special Status, but that special status still has to be loaded with content. I am not going to sit down and do what the mistakes that our forefather did when they came out of the tripartite of 1996, and there was never a follow-up. It is only thanks to COVID-19, I think that people already know that we have mounted so much pressure that so much so that a follow-up committee to implement the resolutions of the national dialogue should be put in place. That said, Mr. Journalist, what is happening is this. If somebody, I am a bona fide Pan-Africanist, profound federalist, and I'm saying this with all the dignity and pride and smile on my face, because what we have achieved is enormous. We have Mr. Biya on his throat, and he has recognized that there is an Anglophone problem. Anglophones voted to become part of Cameroon,
and he's killing our people every day.
Listen,
he's killing our people every day. That's a recognition of an Anglophone problem.
But this is our way forward. He has given us part of what he owes us. We take that one, put it in our pocket, and hang on his neck. That's how we do it. In politics, you will never get it all. It's just like I'll come and say that Mr. Biya has given us special status or has given us federation and it's enough. No. As an opposition, as a critic to the government, you never get enough. You always look for arenas where you can pin down your opponent, where you can ask for more, for the betterment of the people and the ideologies that you believe in. The politics of empty chairs has never paid anywhere. And in modern democracies, today, he who runs will come back to fight another day. So fight now.
Yes, Paddy.
Okay, and move on.
Paddy, you say the politics of empty chair never pays, which is true, but it's still verifiable too, because when you see that the decentralization bill was signed and passed in 1996 and up to today, the government of Cameroon has not applied it, and now people are kind of celebrating the special status. How strong are you sure that this special status will be applied? Because the funny thing with it is, again, that the special status still, even the francophone provinces or regions still benefited from the there's nothing so special about it, especially that the package is not even.
My brothers.
Yes.
This is my brother. I'm very happy that you brought that question, and I think I answered the question, but it slipped off your ear.
Okay.
We are not going to make the mistakes our forebear coming out of the tripartite. I said, if not of COVID-19, I think there would have been a follow-up committee put in place to make sure that the implementations of the resolutions of the national dialogue with the recommendations are implemented. That one said. So you said you were talking about 1996. 1996 is not 2016. Those are two different contexts. Our forefathers who went there, they came out and sat and expected Mr. Biya to do as he wants. Nobody followed up. That's where we went wrong. And they also know that if they had implemented the resolutions of the 1996 Constitution, we would not have been where we are today. So we are saying that the special status is good, but it is not good enough. You want to agree with me that when I came out of the national dialogue and I was shouting at the top of my voice, calling my Anglophone brothers to join us to load the content of the special status. And Jonathan Babila, a journalist like yourself, he asked me the question, what should be the content? I said, let's get the institutions, some of the institutions that we brought into the union. And today, the House of Chiefs is being spoken about. The Limbe Deep Sea Port, which is a structural development project, is being spoken about. And we are insisting that the Menchum Fall hydroelectricity project, which can provide electricity for the whole of West Africa, should be spoken about. There are other strategic reasons why I will not come out full-blown here, because I know the Jacobins in Yaoundé are also listening, but we are going to work with the coalition of the willing to make sure that we get the most we can get from this regime without firing a single bullet at anybody, be it a black leg, a red leg, an Ambazonian, a Jacobin, or whosoever. Contrary to what my brother Bobga, if I was in Cameroon, he will not be talking to me. He will say, "Una go cut Paddy head." But because we are where there is the rule of law, I can speak to him, even sit and share a beer with him without being afraid that he will poison me. Because if he poisons me, they'll dictate that from the fingerprints that he's the one who put that poison in that beer. Thank you.
Thank you, Paddy Sanga. I'll be coming back to you after the second part of this talk. Mr. Bobga, after your answer, we'll be observing a commercial break. What is the relationship between Sisiko and the, Dr. Sako presently? Are they in good terms?
Well, I mean, for me, I think that that's a peripheral issues. You know, being in good term or not in good term, the most important thing that is that each of them are working their own way to make sure that Ambazonia is free, to make sure that we have a free and independent Ambazonia. So in that sense, they are on the same wavelength.
Thank you.
So, I wanted to say something to Paddy about the federation. I have a breaking news for Paddy Asanda. Federation will never happen in Cameroon. And the reason is that the French set up a system where when they control the president, they control everything in the country. So if you have a federation, it means that they have to deal with 10 different regions to be able to get what they want. So they do not want federation. And it was because of them that the former federation was abolished, because they wanted to put hands on our resources in Amazonia. So Paddy, they can dream everything they want to dream, and they have voice now. People like Paddy Asanga, they have voice now. We talk about federalism, because Amazonians have stood up, they've shed their blood, they are fighting to free the country. So them, instead of supporting their brothers and sisters that have sacrificed their lives to free our people, what are they doing? They're fighting against their own Southern Cameroonians. You know, that is the clear example of Stockholm Syndrome, where, you know, Paddy Asanga will talk so well about the La République and bad about his brothers and sisters who are fighting to be free in Amazonia. What a shame.
I will not, Mr.
Thank you.
He was talking, you were saying, we had a similar situation with Eritrea and Ethiopia. And there were a whole bunch of Eritreans that were talking like Paddy Asanga.
Listen.
Some used to come to I used to talk with them all the time in my restaurant. They said, oh, they don't think we have independence.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
When there is a way,
Mr. Bobga, Mr. Bobga, Paddy, please, guys, thanks so much. We'll be observing a commercial break. But before the commercial break, I want to say a special hi to contributors to this program. I want to mention here Sapology Boutique here in Greenberg, Maryland. I want to say a special hi to Njimo Gaston, who's watching from Yaoundé, who has been contributing to this platform. I want to say a special hi to Ngenge Nyonji, who is presently in London and watching. I equally want to extend my strong regards to the former students of the former GBHS Nkambe, GHS Nkambe, called GBHS now, who are already in an organized platform trying to look back home. I want to say this, kudos to Jones Dindicho from right away in Texas, Nge Edison in Nongene Arvis, and a whole lot of them, Dr. JB, who is in New York. I want to say we'll be observing a commercial break. When we come back from the commercial break, Paddy Asanga and Ayaba, Bobga will be having very strong stance to end their positions of fight and the status of the plight. Thanks so much. Televiewers will be observing a commercial break. Thanks.
There's never been a better time to get into the IT industry. And getting an IT certification could help you land a much better job, increase your salary, and of course, sharpen your tech-savvy skills. For all your IT training in one central area, there's no better place than Piney Tech Academy. We offer the highest quality of training from an expert team of instructors and programs. Choose from several of our training courses no matter what level skill you have. We offer courses in CompTIA A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, Red Hat, Linux, AWS, and many more to choose from. For only 3 to 9 months of hands-on training experience, students can go from zero skills and knowledge to a competency that will assist them in reaching their career goals. Piney Tech Academy gives them all the skills they need to find the right job and succeed. Visit www.pineytechacademy.com or call 301-478-7264 to get started in your future of IT.
Tuned to our darling program here on Media 2 Africa. Media 2 Africa is a digital platform that welcomes political talks, entrepreneurship, and equally uprising Africans here in the Washington, D.C. and America at large. We are hosting today 2 strong activists, one a federalist, the other an independentist. We have Mr. Bobga of Roger Miller Restaurant in Silver Spring. Paddy Asanga, all the way from Germany, has dedicated his time to defend his stance today with Bobga. Paddy Asanga has been fighting this fight way back, especially during the national media dialogue that he was part of. He is proud to say today they at least gained something, the special status, though it is still not yet loaded as he wished, but he believes something has already been won. Mr. Bobga has also been defending his stand that despite the factions between the ranks of the frontline leaders of the separatists, they still believe in unity and are working in the background to make sure that this stands strong. Special high goes to His Royal Highness Ponganjo, who's watching from Maryland. Paddy Asanga, I'll be directing once more to you. Special status is not yet loaded as you believe, but how strong do you believe that we'll have federalism?
Through our collective effort with our people who are the home front. My brother, I want to tell you something, and I want to be very, very honest with you. Our people have become political scavengers, especially those who are sitting in the diaspora. We are talking to the people on the ground. We go and we risk and go on the ground, and we listen to them. We know their plight. We know what they want. And those boys who have been lynched out there by Ayabacho, Chris Ano, and so many other people, they are not different from criminal gangs today. That's why 2 weeks ago, we saw 17 boys who dropped their weapons and yielded to our call because they knew that we are not prepared. It is not feasible. They have become political guinea pigs for people who sit here in the diaspora and send them to be slaughtered while they collect money, share it among themselves, fight, quarrel themselves on the internet, and then give themselves positions. You have a 73-man cabinet made of people who are sitting in the diaspora, and nobody mandated them. They have never consulted anybody on the ground. They come and tell you of XXX. You see them, everybody coming and say, I'm going to create a national army. ADF is the leading force. We are the Amazonian lion. We don't pay allegiance to this. Our people have been reduced to political guinea pigs, to scavengers who are sitting here in the diaspora, and they believe that those who are at the home front will die for the crumbs that they sent to them so that they become politically relevant. It is not working, and that infighting that you are talking of, Mr. Bobga will not concede to you because the dying horse always have a last kick. He will tell you that we are hoping that there will be unity. For 4 years today, they have come out with all sorts of schemes, National AK campaign, National Top Contender Force, and all sorts of schemes. But what does it boil down to? Fraud, scamming, embezzlement, infighting, insults, blackmail, and so on and so forth. Today, they have reduced Barrister Fujonso to a talking clown. They have reduced Adu Karim to a talking clown. Honorable Weber, who brought the Anglophone struggle to a limelight, I heard Chris Ano attacking him. And these are people who sit in the diaspora and tell you that they are going to deliver Amazonia through America. America will come and speak for them. When America sees those videos where they are fighting themselves, some of them have been kicked out of their jobs, like Benedict Kwa, Tapang Ivor. They have been kicked out of their jobs because of the type of things that they come and say, which on Facebook, which are against the American law. It is not Paddy who is talking. Those information are
that is absolutely not true.
I will use the weapons that they give me to beat them with it and let our people understand that a legitimate cause was hijacked by political scavengers who are hiding here in the diaspora. Thank you.
Yes, Paddy, I think if we go with the hearsay, as we say it in our day-to-day language back
hearsay,
home.
Mr. Journalist. I'm not talking about hearsay. Anybody can sue me and I'll produce documentation. I know what I'm talking about. I am somebody who has been very, very outspoken. My stands are very, very firm. Before I pronounce anything comes out of my mouth, I have proof of it. You people saw me in the court of California to take on Tapang, who said I was paid by them to come and to go and spy for them and give them pictures. But when he came to that court, he said he never knew Paddy Asanga. That's how they are, and we are going to take the war to them at their doorsteps. Oh, they pack their bags and Mr. Bobga goes back home and start fighting for Amazonia. because most of our young boys and girls have been slaughtered like guinea pigs, and they need backup. So if they believe in Ambazonia, leave their comfort zone or you send your own children. It's as easy as that. Thank you.
You're welcome, Padia Sanga. Mr. Bobga, I'm turning to you right now. We think at the end, at the level of this struggle, what Ambazonians who still believe in you guys is to see the frontline activists in strong unity, and is also the kind of one out of the numerous killings back in the Ambazonian territory. We have heard of the clashes that occurred in Kumbu. Similarly, the ones that occurred in somewhere around the Bamenda regions, they said it was kind of infighting. You who lead factions who are fighting for this struggle, why is it that the message is not going that the common enemy is Biya and his government and not the Ambazonians? Why is it so difficult that you guys could not unite to pass this message? And be it fighting militarily or politically, like to score goals like we did mention, why would you guys not stand strong and pass the message that the common enemy is the other side of the Mungo and not within your ranks?
Absolutely. That's the message. The message is that the enemy is this terrorist regime in Yaoundé supported by France. You know? So when you see the kids fighting on the street, they are fighting for themselves. They are fighting to have a better education. They are fighting not to be indoctrinated by a Francophone system. They are fighting not to go to court in Bamenda and being asked to speak in French. They are fighting to have a better life for themselves and their kids. So that is what it is, you know. So people like my brother Padia Sanga, when they don't like the message, they attack the messenger. Well, it is Ayabacho, or it is a Seko, or it is Sako, or it is Fujonsu. No, it is none of them. It is the aspiration of the Ambazonian people. That for 58 years, they have gone through all these atrocities visited on them by a regime that is controlled from France. That is there just to do the bidding of the French. So they are tired of that. So we want Ambazonian to be free. We are asking La Republique to withdraw its troops from Ambazonia, free our brothers and sisters in jail, and sit down for a negotiation on separation, how we can live peacefully as good neighbors. We want to live with our Republic as good neighbors. We have we have historical ties. We want to do that, but La Republic has to leave Ambazonia, and that is why even when you see a 4-year-old kid in Ambazonia, they're singing a national anthem. They know the national anthem of Ambazonia because they look around, they see the conditions of their life. It's unsustainable. You know, we are people.
Mr. Bobga, there was this unpopular cry that some of your activists said the Bamlikes or the French should be attacked in the Ambazonian region. How would that be possible when you have a majority of Anglophones who have displaced themselves internally and are living in the neighboring Western Littoral, Central Province, and all the like? How would that kind of message be?
Any call for the Bamlikis or the Francophones to be attacked is misguided. We don't have any problem with Francophones. We don't have any problem with Bamlikis. But we have problem with anybody that is enabling the terrorist system in Yaoundé to oppress us, to steal our resources. You know, for the past 58 years, more than trillions and trillions of dollars have been stolen from Ambazonia by La Republique du Cameroon, while our people are suffering, while our people don't have roads, why they destroy our resources, why they destroy our institutions, our infrastructures. So we do not have a problem with francophones, or we do not have a problem with Bamilikis.
Okay.
But we have problems even with Ambazonians. Let me finish. We have problems with Ambazonians that are enablers, like my brother Padia Sanga, that's going to sit and support a regime that is committing genocide on our people. We have problem with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Padia Sanga. I'll be directing the mic to you right now. You still stand strong on, you believe in federalism. Anglophone Cameroonians marched peacefully on that fateful day, which is recognized by the international law for that civil and peaceful protest. It's a way of expression of one's grievances. They were cracked down by the military, and you still believe this military, this regime, will one day submit to grant federalism. How far are you sure with that?
Okay, Mr. Journalist, I want to know the fateful day you are talking of, because there are two fateful days in my mind.
Yes, like one of the followers did question you that Cameroonians who were marching on the 22nd of September, that is like 3 years back, when this struggle got to the limelight.
Okay, yes. On the 22nd of September, there were still Cameroonians, Anglophone Cameroonians were protesting because they were not satisfied with the way the Jacobinist regime of Yaoundé have been handling affairs. And when Ayuk Seseko Tabe, the hijacker, saw that crowd, he thought that he would manipulate that crowd, lie to them that on the 1st of October, he was going to be at Ambas Bay. He told them that the United Nations was going to come and install him. They were already around the Ambas Bay. They said all sorts of stuff. They printed flyers and showed plane flights and said people should buy their tickets and all sorts of crazy stuff, only to collect money. But he was never there. That's where the scam began, because they took advantage of that crowd. Remember, we have this political consciousness, this critical mass that we would have used to fight Mr. Biya's regime without firing a single bullet. And we would have been talking today. All the crimes against humanity would have been leveled on Mr. Biya's head. But today, when you read all the reports from all international instances, there are accusations on both sides. How did we get there? Now, talking about what Mr. Bobga just said. So we got there because scammers and hijackers, political scavengers, came in and said, we are going to arm our boys. They went to Taraba State, trained some boys, listened to defected Amber boys. Those are testimonies, true testimonies. Whereas when we brought those guys out of the bushes, took them to the national dialogue, they said, no, there is no Amber boys. They were all fake Amber boys. But today, time has given us a reason. Now, Mr. Bobga said that you have kids singing the Ambazonian anthem because they are conscious of what that they have been suffering and so on. That is another scam. That is another lie that the black man passes on to his generation, and to pass a lie from one generation to another, you start by telling that lie to a kid. It's just like they will tell you that Jesus will come. And they told our people that Jesus, until today, people are praying for the coming of Jesus. They told you that you will get Ambazonian through court. We have countries that will support you. People started singing it. And now they are going around brainwashing children to sing that anthem. And he, as a father, comes and tells you that that child is conscious of what he's doing. That is how dishonest these people are. That's how they manage to get young boys as old as 12 years like Smolly to go and hold a gun, stand and go on Facebook and be saying that he's looking for Mr. Biya in the bush. Mr. Bobga, why the Ambazonians failed and will never succeed is because they started going after their own. When you are in a fight which is political, you don't go after your own.
It's the fake Amber Boys by La Republique.
You say they are fake Amber Boys by La Republique.
Okay. Created by La Republique. Just like you guys created a fake Amber Boys during the so-called charade called National Dialogue.
Bobga, when you were talking, I was not talking.
Mr.
You
Bobga, Paddy
Amazonian
still has the
people,
mic.
you have this intolerance that you don't let people talk. But now that the cats are turning, the chickens are coming home to roost, you start saying that La République, La République. How did La République get there? Since you say you are controlling the territory, go and get those boys, since you know them, and hand them or do whatever you do to them. You said you are going to prevent the military from coming. That is an argument that I can put forward to you. You said your boys were ready. How ready are they? What are they doing in agglomerations? How many military places have you taken? So let's go back to what I was saying, just to tell Mr. Bobga that he is just repeating something that he has been told, like one of those parrots who come and say, Ambazonia must be free. All their argument is that Ambazonia must be free. But the truth is this, Mr.
Absolutely.
Bobga,
Amazonia must be free.
you listen, that is it. So the truth is this. They said Bamilikes should leave. People have lost their farms in the hands of Amber boys. They said Brazzaville, avoid boycott Brazzaville food up. They did not tell the people that why they were boycotting Brazzaville food up. How would you go and tell somebody who has been selling drinks from Brazzaville and feeding his family for 20, 30 years? That is his only source of income. You go and take that person and you start harassing him, say that we have banned Brazzaville food up without an alternative. They say teachers do not go to school. Government teachers are being paid. Those in the private school, what have they provided an alternative for them? And you think that the people will support you in that type of adventure? It doesn't work that way, my brother. And that is why,
since this talk is targeting the way out, how you win your game plan, what is your relationship with Abobala and Neba Fontem, who are also activists for federalism?
Listen, I don't know if Dr. Fontem Neba is an activist for federalism or not. The last time I spoke with Dr. Fontem Neba was before I was going for the national dialogue. And since then, I don't know if it's his number that has changed, but I have not succeeded in getting, most of our communications nowadays are basically on WhatsApp. But with Agobala, we are talking, we are creating alliances at the home front, we are empowering the people at the home front, we are advocating that those people who were at the home front should come out and go and fight for what is feasible and don't fight for an illusion that was cooked up in Nigeria and sold to the people. Dr. Liz Ambe, who was Secretary of State for the Ambazonia for Education, where is she today and what is she saying about Ambazonia? Today she's talking about church by church, and church by church has taken the life of those guys who were in Nigeria. I want to remember 009. So, and she is sitting in Washington, D.C. or in Boston with Henriette Fominki, Alex Bianda, sending other people's children, took them from Nigeria. Those boys are dead. They were killed by the community, but they are not talking about it. We have all those information because we have our ears off the ground. The people are tired of these scammers who are sitting here in the diaspora, and we will not let them. We'll call them their names because those are the names that they have been calling themselves. Go and watch their shows. Go and watch their live broadcast. It is not Paddy Asanga who is saying what is happening. The reality is speaking for itself. Thank you, Mr. Journalist.
Okay, Mr. Bobga will be having a 5-minute rounding up statement. You will be rounding up, and Paddy will be given 2 minutes to round up. Bobga, you have been still standing strong on the fight and believe in independence. What is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is simple. La République has to withdraw from our country, has to withdraw from Amazonia, go back to East Cameroon, release our prisoners in their jail that they're maltreating, torturing, and call for a negotiation so we can all sit down around the table and negotiate how to live as good neighbors. And
so, what's the message you are passing back to the ground zero forces, as it's fondly called?
The forces, they're down in the ground zero. They know what the situation is. These kids, they have sacrificed everything for freedom. And somebody like me, I had done a lot for. I was a believer in Cameroon, like my brother Padia Sanga did so much. I was the first Cameroonian in this area or person in this place to donate money so the Cameroon embassy could be computerized. I had the DC government passed a law recognizing that country. But that country that we once believed in has failed so much because the country was built on lies. And they think they can continue to lie to us. You know, our forefathers joined them in good faith. Little did they know that they had a hidden agenda. That hidden agenda was to assimilate us, to enslave us. That's why they destroyed all the institutions that we had. Cameroon Bank, CDC, they took everything that we had. So we can feel so like poor people, so we can depend. That's the script that the French gave them. The French gave them a script to follow, how to make us dependent on them. But thank God, we have a new generation of kids who said, no, we're not going to go the same way that our parents went, our grandparents went, and they are fighting. They have the Ambazonian spirit. All we can do is support them, do our best what we can do to support them, because they're fighting for their future. They're fighting for a better life. And that's what we're going to do. Whatever I can do to support, I will do to support.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bobga. Thank you so much for the effort you put to be here, because I know we took you out of your usual day-to-day activities. Thank you for having accepted to give us the honor to talk on this platform and also to defend your stance against Padi Asanga. Mr. Padi Asanga, all the way from Germany, you have 2 minutes to round up. I want to also thank you for dedicating time, because I know your busy schedule. To get to you, it has been difficult. And I'll be believing that you have that time perhaps next week, so you face Tapang Ivo or any of these frontline activists when we get their schedule. Padia Sanga, you have 2 minutes to round up.
Yes, I want to thank you very much, and I want to thank my brother Bobga for joining me to start the mini dialogue, the process that we started at the Grand National Dialogue, because that's how it begins. It is true that the Anglophones have got themselves entangled in a Jacobini system that has marginalized us for some time, and we think that the solution is for us sitting together. And first, I repeat, first, Anglophones must sit down and reconcile amongst themselves, because Anglophones have killed Anglophones. I don't think that the children or the parents of those children who were murdered in Guzang will be clapping for Ayaba. The parents of those children who were murdered in Libialem will be clapping for Chris Anu. Or the priest who Ebenezer kidnapped and collected ransom from them will want Ebenezer to be walking free. Those are crimes that Anglophones have meted on their own brothers and sisters, and those crimes should be looked upon, and Anglophones should decide their fate and make sure that at a certain point in time, we come together and rally and go back to that initiative where Anglophones should be talking with one voice, and people should not come on social media and grandstand saying that they have groups on the boys, calling other people's children my boys, my group, my faction. It doesn't work like that. That is called political scavengery. It is political scavengery, using the death of other people's children to score political points. We will not accept it, and that is also one of the reasons that we told Professor Maurice Kamto to go and tell the people who voted for him why he's not going for legislative election, because he never set foot in the north and southwest regions of Cameroon. We want to be fair to our Anglophone brothers and recognize that there is a problem, but the methodology of these people who call themselves Ambazonian is wrong, and it has cost us more lives. Imagine that in 1992, we went this route. Padi Asanga would have not have been alive to defend and remove the number of people that are pulled out of the bushes. And I want to give thanks to people like the chairman, John Fundi, and the leadership of the SDF at the time, because I was born into that family. I saw my uncle, Dr. Siga Asanga, work hard. And when he was living in Bastos, I just knew that when we were leaving that immeuble Mansell, we were going to get into Italy. And when they came and told me that we are not going to go to Italy, I felt very, very frustrated. And I became a rebel at the university. And then I was dismissed because I joined the Cameroonian Student Parliament, made my voice heard. And that's why today I am able to run my basket mouth where I'm sitting right here and talking freely to you and edifying other people. So Media to Africa, I am very, very pleased. I am happy. I want to thank you people as a mediating factor, creating that platform for our brothers and sisters to exchange ideas and not swords or weapons. You're very welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Padi Asanga. Thank you, Mr. Bobga. Thank you all for your time today. I want to thank our televiewers who have always shown this faithfulness, staying connected to watch our darling programs. And we promise that henceforth we'll be having more entertaining programs. We're looking to bring more programs like a musical program that will be promoting just musicians who come here, aspiring musicians from the African continent who have to advertise their product in America. And we do that at times just free, just to make sure that we push their products to the limelight. Dear televiewers, we want to call on you to continue staying safe and practicing the measures that has been put in place by the state to stay safe from this pandemic. And together we'll win it. We thank you all so much for tuning in. And we call on you that flyers will be going on air to talk of, announce the next program. We thank you for having tuned in. I am your faithful presenter, Mbumwe Modest, all the way from Washington, D.C., United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you.